In the middle of the night, expert hitman Jason Renshaw drives to his next target, parking outside a toy factory to do some surveillance first. Inside, renowned toy maker Hans Morris is in his workshop, inspecting the latest batch of toys being produced. He checks on everything and saves a limited edition box for last. Inside is a beautiful fairy music box that plays a soothing melody. Captivated by the fairy, Hans takes it with him as he locks up the workshop and heads to his office, which he accesses with a special keycard. Once in his office, Hans looks at a photo of his mother, signed with love and a little doodle of a funny face. Meanwhile, Jason watches Hans from outside and starts preparing for the job. He covers his shoes, puts on gloves, attaches a silencer to his gun, and hides his face with a mask and a hat. Not long after, a security guard hears a noise and steps out of his office to investigate. He finds a phone left at the entrance with a message saying it's a bomb about to go off. Panicking, the guard uses his keycard to unlock the door and grabs the phone to throw it away, but Jason ambushes him and quickly sedates him with a tranquilizer dart. He takes the phone, turns off the fake countdown, steals the guard's keys, and hides the unconscious body. Jason then heads further into the building, using the stolen keys to access the security cameras. He sees another guard arriving and turns off all the cameras before sneaking up on the second guard. Jason shoots him with another dart, tackles him to the ground, and holds him until the sedative takes effect. He hides this body too before heading upstairs to Hans's office. Using the guard's keycard, Jason unlocks the door. Hans notices Jason immediately and barely has time to react before Jason shoots him multiple times, killing him quickly. Jason checks Hans's pulse to confirm he's dead, then notices the photo of Hans's mother on the floor with the strange signature. His attention is also drawn to the music box, which he picks up and listens to for a moment before taking it with him. Later, Jason is on a plane heading home. Using a burner phone, he texts his client to confirm Hans's death, asking them to verify it on the news and send the payment. When the passenger next to him asks for gum, Jason reaches into his bag to grab some and is startled by the music box fairy, which suddenly looks unsettling. The passenger gives him a confused look, but Jason brushes it off with a polite smile and hands her the gum. Hours later at the airport, Jason sees the news confirming Hans's death, with authorities stating that it was the work of a hitman. As he rides the escalator, he becomes unnerved by a little girl carrying a creepy baby toy, feeling so uneasy that he has to look away. Jason eventually returns to his apartment building and can't help but notice another toy from Hans's brand sitting on the front desk. When he gets to his apartment, he spots the toy duck he had left floating in his pool. It makes him so uneasy that he moves it to the balcony. After taking a shower, Jason retrieves the fairy music box from his bag and places it in his glass cabinet, where he keeps a memento from every person he's killed. Then he checks his computer and sees his payment has been wired. He also notices there's another job waiting for him in London. Deciding to rest first, Jason takes a nap. Later that evening, Jason wakes up to the sound of his doorbell. Checking the security camera, he sees the receptionist leaving a package at his door. He brings the package inside and notices there's no sender information, but the wrapping paper has the same little face that he saw in Hans's mother's photo. Feeling suspicious, Jason carefully cuts open the package with a knife, half expecting it to be a trap. When he removes the paper, Jason finds a box of toy soldiers, complete with weapons and vehicles. The logo confirms it's from Hans's factory, and there's a sticker advertising a bonus surprise. Still cautious, Jason cracks open the box slightly and uses a flashlight to check for any hidden bombs. Once he's satisfied there's nothing dangerous, he opens the box fully to find it's just a collection of toys. Confused, Jason inspects the paper again with the little face but finds no additional clues. He examines one of the toy soldiers closely but sees nothing unusual about it, so he sets it down and heads to the bar for a soda. Suddenly, he hears a noise and notices the toy box has fallen off the counter. Now on edge, Jason stares at the box for a moment before checking the other side of the counter for anything unusual. Finding nothing, he looks back at the box and is shocked to discover it's now empty. At the same moment, his curtains start to move. Jason rushes over to look behind them but finds nothing again. Then a lamp goes out by itself. When Jason investigates, he realizes the power cord has been cut. As he moves to check another light that goes out in the kitchen, he suddenly feels a sharp pain in his foot. He jumps back and picks up the object that stabbed him, discovering it's a toy-sized army weapon. Jason crouches down to check under the furniture, and something starts shooting at him with tiny bullets. He quickly moves to take cover, wincing as he touches the small scars on his skin. The bullets may be tiny, but they're strong enough to cause real damage. When Jason peeks out again, a small missile is fired at him, striking his leg. The explosion is intense enough to burn through his pants and leave a painful wound. Rolling on the floor to dodge the attacks, Jason scrambles to hide behind a step. As the firing continues, he bolts to the bathroom for cover. After checking his wounds in the large mirror, Jason grabs a smaller hand mirror and cracks the bathroom door open just enough to take a look. The gunfire is still going, tearing through his apartment and wrecking the lights and electronics. A missile even hits a lamp, starting a small fire. Suddenly, the shooting stops, but Jason realizes the enemy has now spotted him. Another missile is launched, shattering the mirror and sending shards flying at him. Jason quickly shuts the door and pulls the glass pieces from his skin, noticing he's gotten even more cuts. Since this bathroom connects to his bedroom, Jason rushes to his nightstand and grabs a hidden gun. Bursting out of the bathroom, he starts firing at the enemy, who is hiding under the couch. Despite dodging more missiles, the bullets keep hitting him. Jason makes his way across the apartment, grabs a bottle of alcohol from the bar, and downs a quick drink before grabbing another hidden weapon. He opens fire again, moving closer to the couch and shoving furniture out of the way. When the enemy's shots momentarily stop, Jason flips the couch cushions aside and unloads more bullets while yelling in frustration. Once he's out of ammo, Jason grabs his first gun and flips the couch over, finally revealing his attackers, the toy soldiers from the box. Some of the soldiers are already destroyed, but the survivors are regrouping, collecting weapons, and climbing into vehicles. Jason stomps on 2 of them before the rest open fire, forcing him to retaliate with more shots. Some soldiers manage to board their helicopters, which take off and start launching missiles. Jason ducks just in time, but the explosions tear through his bar. The helicopters swoop toward him, slashing at his face and hands with their rotors, forcing him to drop his gun. He quickly retrieves it and shoots one helicopter out of the air, but the others seize the chance to fire more missiles. With no other option, Jason retreats back to the bathroom and locks the door. Inside, he looks at himself in the mirror and is horrified by how much he's bleeding. His hands shake as he rinses his wounds and disinfects them, gritting his teeth against the pain. After drinking some water to steady himself, he carefully bandages his injured hand. Suddenly, a missile blasts through the door, leaving a hole just large enough for a toy helicopter to fly in. Thinking quickly, Jason grabs a towel, traps the helicopter, and slams it to the ground before stomping it to pieces. At that moment, another helicopter flies in and launches a missile, but the explosion doesn't slow Jason down. He grabs his gun and shoots the second helicopter, forcing it to retreat. Jason checks to make sure the coast is clear outside the door, then scoops up the broken toy pieces and throws them into the toilet. After flushing, he uses the towel to cover the hole in the door. Just as he starts to relax, he hears noises coming from the toilet. Alarmed, Jason flushes again, but the rattling doesn't stop. Jason slams the toilet lid shut, but the noise from inside doesn't stop. Desperate, he grabs a hairdryer and tosses it into the toilet, causing a short circuit. The surge fries the toy soldiers, but also knocks out the bathroom lights, leaving him in darkness. Unsure of what to do next, Jason sits down to regroup. He finds a needle and thread and uses them to stitch up the cut on his leg, groaning as he works. After taking a sip of water, he notices a can of bug spray that had fallen from the cabinet. He picks it up and stashes it in his pocket as a backup weapon. Suddenly, Jason sees movement by the door. He raises his gun, ready to fire, but it's only a piece of paper being pushed in. Once the soldiers leave, Jason grabs the paper and sees the word "surrender" written on it. Smirking, he writes an insult on it and shoves it back under the door. Curious, Jason moves the towel to peek outside and sees the soldiers setting up a cannon. He quickly dodges as a cannonball crashes through the door, leaving an even larger hole. More shots follow, each one tearing away more of the door until almost nothing is left. Realizing he has no other option, Jason climbs out the window and carefully steps onto the narrow ledge outside, high above the city streets. Jason inches along the edge, keeping his back pressed against the wall. Just as he finds a spot to hide, a toy helicopter flies out and starts looking for him. Staying as still as possible, he waits for it to pass before moving toward another window. Suddenly, the helicopter finds him and shoots, hitting him once in the face. Jason holds on tight to avoid falling and shoots back, but he's down to his last bullet. Luckily, the shot sets the helicopter on fire, causing it to crash. Wincing from the pain in his ear, Jason continues moving along the ledge, gripping a pipe for support. He slips and falls, but manages to land on his balcony. Crawling behind his grill, he peeks inside and spots the soldiers regrouping and preparing to use their last cannon. Looking around for a plan, Jason's eyes land on the grill, the toy duck, a lighter, and a fire extinguisher. Moments later, the toy duck is floating in the pool. The soldiers approach it to investigate, giving Jason a chance to slip inside unnoticed. He catches them off guard, blasting them with the fire extinguisher. But before he can finish, a second team of soldiers sneaks up behind him, shooting and destroying one of the mementos in his cabinet. Jason fumbles with the lighter but eventually gets it to work. Combining it with the bug spray, he creates a makeshift flamethrower and sets the soldiers ablaze. The toy truck crashes into the furniture, and Jason shouts claps in triumph before turning the flames on the remaining soldiers. Once he's done enough damage, Jason grabs a knife and furiously hacks the soldiers into pieces, even stabbing one just to watch it squirm in pain. Out by the pool, the soldiers in the foam shoot down the duck, and the extinguisher finally runs out. Before they can target him, Jason grabs their own box and smashes it against them. Thinking he's finally won, Jason gathers the broken toys and inspects them closely. He finds nothing unusual about them, so he carefully counts every piece and compares it to the numbers on the box to ensure none escaped. Satisfied, Jason dumps the remnants into the garbage disposal and turns it on, grinding the toys into dust. After properly cleaning his wounds, Jason decides to relax in his pool. But just as he starts to feel at ease, he hears a noise and feels a sharp pain in his arm. Panicking, he immediately jumps out of the pool and looks at the water, but nothing seems out of place. The cut on his wrist is deep, so he quickly wraps it with a towel and retreats to his bedroom to hide. Once inside, Jason tries to stitch the wound himself, but his hands are shaking so badly that he can't even thread the needle. Frustrated, he gives up and tightly bandages the wound instead before getting dressed. He cautiously steps out of the room, constantly scanning his surroundings. Grabbing the emergency magnet from his fridge, Jason begins backing out of the apartment, ensuring he won't be caught off guard. When he reaches the elevator, he presses the button but remains tense, hearing strange noises from above. The sounds move closer, and it becomes clear that something has entered the elevator mechanism. Suddenly, there's a loud bang, and the control panel explodes, plunging the elevator into darkness and bringing it to a stop. The hatch above him bursts open, revealing a new soldier, larger and stronger than the others. The soldier jumps into the elevator, moving too fast for Jason to track with his weak flashlight. It cuts into his legs with quick strikes and manages to slash deeply into his other arm. Jason uses his belt as a makeshift tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Turning around, he spots the soldier snarling at him from the broken panel before it climbs back through the hatch. Just as Jason starts to regain his breath, two explosions rock the elevator, making it shake violently. Desperate, Jason jumps until he reaches the hatch and pulls himself up. He finds himself trapped between floors, only to see another explosion beneath him. Above, the soldier prepares to attack again. Spotting a second elevator nearby, Jason leaps onto it, narrowly escaping. As the second elevator descends, Jason jumps inside, landing painfully. Thinking he's finally safe, he presses a button to move, but the soldier had hidden in his shoe and is now climbing up his body. The soldier growls menacingly, and Jason growls back before the toy begins stabbing him. Jason quickly shoves it off. When the elevator reaches the ground floor, the doors open, and Jason collapses, pretending to pass out. The soldier approaches to finish the job, but Jason was only playing dead. With one final push, he forces the toy soldier into the gap where the doors are closing. The soldier tries to stop the doors with its tiny arms, but they're not strong enough, and the doors crush it completely. Just as Jason thinks it's over, he hears a faint beeping noise. Looking closely at the crushed soldier's remains, he discovers a bomb in its bag. Letting out a bitter laugh of defeat, Jason doesn't have time to react before the bomb detonates. The massive explosion engulfs the tunnel in flames, creating a fiery inferno. Back in the apartment, the sticker peels off the toy box, revealing Hans's mother's handwritten surprise, a commando and a thermonuclear weapon. In the glass cabinet, the fairy music box starts playing its haunting tune one last time. Don't forget to subscribe. Here's some more interesting story you don't want to miss.